Well, what's the outlook, agriculturally speaking, for 1994 in Lincoln County?
Oh, I think it looks great. If we have weather like this, we're going to have booming crops this year, in fact. Farmers will be able to get into their fields real early this spring, and we're going to have some good Lincoln County sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, watermelon, all these things that are running down through these booths here.
Well, folks, I don't know if you know much about what Janet does, but you probably better than anyone have an idea of the future of Lincoln County's agricultural. You work with the 4-H children,
That's right.
Kids, young adults, all ages. How are those folks doing?
They are doing great, Pete. We had the best year in 1993 we've ever had in Lincoln County 4-H. And you will notice my spouse/co-worker is missing from my side today.
Yeah, where's he at?
He's in Murfreesboro today. And he took a group of about 12 4-H members to compete in a district contest in public speaking, citizenship, and leadership. So we're looking forward to hearing how they did today.
Tell me about some of the winners that you've had this year in 4-H.
Oh, we've had 2 state winners in their project work. Jennifer Luter, of course, won first place in entomology at the state and got to go to National 4-H Congress in Chicago. Then Katie Williams won first place in the Home Environment Project at the state and will receive a $500 freshman scholarship if she chooses to go to UT Martin or UTK or UTC.
Fantastic.
So we're really proud of them. We had a couple of land judging teams that went to the state contest. The land judging team and the wildlife judging team went to the state. So everybody that's in 4-H in the state of Tennessee knows about Lincoln County and knows about Lincoln County 4-Hers.
Fantastic. We have some quality young adults coming up, and so the future looks good.
The future looks great, and we're looking forward to just getting on further into 1994.
Janet Hale, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
Well, folks, here we are with some great ladies from M&M Market. Ladies, introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee McBay, and this is Carol McBay.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Betty. Who we got hiding over here?
She's gone.
She's history, huh? Well, tell us about what you brought to the food fair today.
We have brought homemade apple butter,
Ooh.
our own secret recipe, and we've also brought homemade biscuits with some salsa and some chips.
Oh, you know how to hurt a guy, I'm telling you. Now, is a homemade salsa too?
Homemade salsa.
I have tried and tried and tried to make a good salsa, but I fail. Can you tell us how to make a good salsa?
It's a secret recipe.
Oh, y'all are killing me. Well, tell us about M&M Market and how things have been and how things are looking for 1994.
They're looking pretty good. We were established in 1983 by Bill and Berman McBay. And we started really right out of the back of our truck from produce we grown in our own backyard.
No kidding.
And now we have grown bigger and better.
And wider.
Well, now, where can we find you exactly?
We're on 64 East Winchester Highway.
Right out there on the corner, aren't you?
Well, not the little corner, the big corner where you see the old landmark sign.
Yeah, that's the place to go. Well, how's business been this year?
Well, it always is springing up real big when the flower season comes in and local vegetables, and we get all our homemade specialties stirred up and get that aroma going down the highway. So yes, spring and summer and then fall are the biggest times that we have. We keep busy.
What's the best way to keep vegetables? If you want to freeze them, you don't just throw them in the freezer. There's a little prep work to it, isn't there?
Yeah, we have, you do the packaging and stuff. There's certain degrees that we keep. We have a small cooler and large cooler, and we take care of each individual type.
You know, last year is the first year I learned that you can't freeze lettuce.
Oh, no. That's pretty bad.
And you sure as heck can't thaw it out in the microwave.
The best way to do that after you get your lettuce home is to put it in a brown paper bag.
No kidding.
And don't put it in a plastic bag, actually. It's the brown paper bag, and twist it and put it on the bottom of your refrigerator.
And that'll make it last longer.
Last longer. And crispier.
Boy, am I glad I came here and talked to you. Well, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And here we are at the Alaten fruit and vegetable stand. Boy, a big organization here in the county. Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks?
Hi, I'm Terry Kidd.
Hi, Terry.
I'm the secretary out at Allatin, and my husband, Thomas Kidd, is the manager. And what Allatin is a co-op of growers from surrounding counties. It's not just Lincoln County. We also have Giles County, a couple of growers down in North Alabama. And I think there's about 6 different counties that are actually represented by our co-op.
Through the years, you really have grown. I remember when you had the place in town. Now you have a nice new building out on Highway 64.
That's right, out Highway 64 East and intersection of 121 North.
Fantastic. How's business been this year?
Last year we did a real good job, and we expanded into newer vegetables. This year, besides the regular, we usually have zucchini squash, yellow squash, cabbage, cucumbers, pumpkins, and this past year we also handled acorn squash and spaghetti squash.
What did you bring with you today?
Well, we brought with us some of the fresh vegetables. We have zucchini. Zucchini is actually a squash, but most people don't think it is. But we have zucchini squash, yellow crookneck squash, and cucumbers.
Wow, and what's the dip in the middle?
It's just a ranch dip.
Boy, that's really good with that zucchini, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, what about in the jars? What is in there? That looks good.
Well, Miss Linda Woods will have to tell you about that. Her family is one of our growers, and
Miss
she'll
Linda,
have to
fill us in on the good stuff.
Well, this is hot pepper jelly we make from our peppers. And
Hot pepper jelly?
yeah, you think that sounds good?
No.
Oh, well, it is. You don't eat it with biscuit.
Hot pepper jelly. How do you eat that?
Well, you can put a little on cream cheese and hot pepper jelly on your cracker. Makes a real good little snack.
Well, that doesn't
And
sound too bad.
Well, it's great with beef and pork roast, things like that.
Yeah.
This is squash relish.
Oh, now hold that
Made
up
with-
for the folks. That really looks good.
That's made with our peppers and squash and onions and different things. Then we have something that's real interesting, is a zucchini jam. We make that with our zucchini. That doesn't sound too good either, maybe, but it's delicious.
Zucchini jam. Hold that up again. Let's get a good look at that color.
I think I used apricot jello in that.
How about that?
Then there's a darker one here that has another kind in it. It's not hard, it's pretty.
Boy, it sure is. Now, how would you eat that again?
I'd eat that with biscuit and butter. That's a sweet jelly. The hot pepper jelly is good with meats, but the other's just like any other jam or jelly.
No doubt about it. Well, what does the year look like for Allatin coming up, and what would you like to say to some of your potential customers out there?
Well, we are a wholesale. We ship to, last year, either directly or indirectly, we shipped to about 30 states.
Wow.
And we ship a lot to Nashville, but we ship all over.
How does a co-op work?
Well, the grower brings in their produce, and it is graded, packed, and then shipped from our building. We have what we call a pool period, which lasts for 1 week, and all the produce is put into the pool, and out of that pool we take out the commission for Allatin, and then the freight and the labor, and of course the cost of the boxes and everything, and then every grower is paid the same amount per box that they pack per week.
With the state of how things are going with the farmers, you really have to try to keep those prices down, don't you?
Oh yes, sir. We try to keep, especially our labor costs, because that's one thing that we can really control, and we try to keep it down as low as we can.
You know, when you compare the cost of machinery to how things were 20 years ago, and then look at the cost of produce and fruit and things, well, that really hasn't grown that much. So how does the farmer make up that difference?
Well, I'm not sure.
I think
You have
that's the
to
whole
ask one of
problem.
the farmers. We have one here.
I sure will. Well, why don't you introduce us, please?
Okay, this is Linda's son, Tom, and
Hi, Tom.
and he does one of our growers for us.
Tom, how does the farmer make up the difference with rising costs of equipment, but yet the crops and plants and things don't rise themselves?
You just have to try to get higher yields with better hybrids and by use of chemicals to keep down disease and pests where you can get higher yields.
So the actual key to it is produce more volume.
Right, more per acre.
And
right.
how have you been able to accomplish that in, let's say, the past 20 years?
Sure. Of course, I'm fairly new in produce, but take, for example, we have a hill farm that before, in the time of mules and fertilized, would yield 40, 50 bushel corn, and now we can get 150, 200 bushel on the same by better hybrids and fertilized use and crop management.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
Yes, sure have.
What's your favorite thing about farming? What keeps you going, getting up every morning?
Mama. Just the way of life and the freedom and being your own man and being in touch with nature and the soil, and it's just a good way of life.
Well, that's very well put. We appreciate you speaking with us today. Now, you always know there's somebody behind the scenes doing the work. What's your name, sir?
Dan Graham.
Dan, you are really going at it here on the grill today.
Yeah, it's time to move.
No doubt about it. What are we cooking today?
Well, we're cooking some chicken and some beef and some pork. We're going to have some lamb here after a while to cook.
Boy, it sure does look good. Now, you're expecting some really big crowds.
Well, I hope so.
What's the key to cooking that lamb?
I don't know. I've never cooked lamb.
Well, great. We'll learn when we go then.
Right.
Thanks, Dan.
Uh-huh.
This is Dina Reed, and she is cooking up something special. Dina, tell us all about what you're doing.
Well, I'm cooking some deer roast here. They've been marinating all night in burgundy and some vinegar and all kinds of herbs, a secret recipe. And, we're just cooking them out here on the charcoal grill for a couple of hours, and they're going to taste delicious when we get through.
Now, what on earth is that pot we're looking at?
That's a Dutch oven. That's the most versatile tool anybody can own, especially if you camp out or run out of electricity for a few days, like some of us have recently.
Yeah.
Just get you a charcoal fire, and you just put that oven down in there, and you can bake bread, cookies, rolls, any kind of thing in there. Just like a regular oven. It's wonderful.
You put those coals right on top of that?
Yes, you do, and that heats from the top as well as from the bottom, so you get a good even distribution.
Wow, it sounds like you've been doing this.
Oh, yeah. This is experience.
Well, did the TWRA talk you into coming up cooking these deer roasts
That's right.
today?
It sure did. I got drafted.
Now, I believe I've seen you on Channel 4 cooking for Bill Hall.
Well,
Is that
you're
true?
very observant. That's right. I get drafted to cook a lot.
Dina, thanks for talking with us.
Yeah.
Little guy who's really enjoying this day. What's you two fellers' names?
Christopher Vessel.
Russell Hill.
Well, it's good to see you both here. Boy, I'm eating some of this steak cooked on the grill out here, and it's good. Have you tried it?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Who would you like to say hi to?
My mom and dad.
All right, what's their names?
Chris and Karen Vessel.
Well, hello, Chris and Karen. And what about you, Russell? I know who your mom and daddy is.
I'd like to say hi to Miss Farah.
Well, very nice of you. Y'all enjoying your day here?
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing so far?
Beef.
That's my favorite too.
Pork.
Pork, all right, beef and pork. What are you guys going to be when you grow up?
Well, I would like to be a dancer or a zookeeper.
A 4-H agent or a 4-H volunteer leader.
Boy, I think you guys got a good future ahead of you. Nice talking with you.
Bye.
Dan?
Yes,
You just laid some beef on me? Some pork on me? Dan, that's some good stuff, buddy. Where did you learn to cook like that?
I started outdoor cooking in 4-H club when I was a little boy. I've been doing it ever since.
How about that? You got the good cleaver for the job down there, too.
Yeah, after a while, we're going to have some barbecue chicken. And that was something I learned in 4-H when I was a kid. I've cooked anywhere from 4 chicken halves to 600 at a time.
Holy cow.
And, okay, hold you up.
Now, what occasion would prompt you to cook 600 birds?
Well, 600 halves. Big crowd.
Yeah, big crowd.
Big crowd.
I know every year they have that big cookout up in Mimosa. Maybe you were up there.
No, I never cooked up there. Our Masonic Lodge, we have a chicken barbecue every year, and I cook for that one, and I've cooked a lot for 4-H and young farmers and homemakers and different folks.
Dan, these have such a neat smoky flavor. Now, what have you done to give it that?
Put a smoky fire under it.
What are you cooking? Hickory or oak or?
No, just charcoal.
Just charcoal.
Just charcoal, and I'm seasoning it with a little seasoned salt and garlic powder and a little black pepper is all in the world's on it.
That garlic powder is what really sets it off for me.
Yes, sir. That makes it good.
All right. Well, keep cooking, Dan.
I'll do it.
See you now.
Okay.
Here's Mr. Jim Hanna with the TWRA, the cook extraordinaire. Jimmy, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, Pete. I'm trying to get a little deer meat cooked up here for the day. Got my able assistant here doing most of the work and giving me all the advice because I know very little about cooking, as you're well aware.
Well, Dina showed us all about the Dutch oven earlier today, and boy, we got to taste some of that food y'all are cooking up. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. The Dutch oven's a great way to cook any kind of game or any kind of meat for that matter, and I can get you an old-fashioned Dutch oven and cook it on the fire, on the grill out there like we're doing. These deer roasts, I guess, did she tell you that they were roasted last night, smoked and all that? These are smoked deer, and we've got them cut up in chunks where people can get them with a toothpick. But, and the sausage balls or the deer balls, and we made those last night and put a little barbecue sauce on those and cooked those up as well. So.
You've been sampling all night?
Well, you know, the chef has to just take a small sample of every portion to make sure it's properly fixed. You know?
We appreciate your caring.
Well, it's dedication is what it is.
Dedication?
That's right, dedication.
Jim Hanna, we'll talk to you a little later.
All right, thank you, Pete.
Well, folks, I'm fixing to try one of these, you call them deer meatballs or deer balls? What do you call them, Jimmy?
Well, they're made out of deer burger, and you'd make them up just like you would hamburger balls, only it's deer instead of hamburger. And what do you think?
That's unbelievable.
Well, good. Did you try?
That's venison? That's deer?
Yeah, that's venison. You know, cooked properly and handled properly, venison is great. Did you try some of the smoked as well?
This is good stuff. Yeah, hey, this is hard work.
I know. Get over there in the next pot and get you some smoked as well.
That's unbelievable. That just melts in your mouth.
I know. Isn't that tender? Boy, it's tender. Randy Ashby and Gene Ledbetter fixed that for us.
Now, how do you get that tender? Seriously, how do you get it that tender?
You have to smoke it on the grill for about 6 or 7 hours. And, of course, you put the right sauces on it and all that. But basically, it's just smoking. And you can get you one of these smokers and put any meat on it, and it'll be good.
Folks, this stuff is so good it just melts in your mouth. We're at the 1994 Agricultural Day and Food Fair, and tough work. Now, folks, this is Mr. Randy Ashby, and he's the guy that just smoked that venison. And Randy, I got to tell you, I'm really ticked off at you. I know that you made that venison on my smoker, and I have never been able to get venison that tender. How do you turn a game animal like that on a smoker, and how do you get it that tender?
It all starts out from the beginning, you know, when you first kill the animal and processing it right and all, and then when I go to smoke one, usually I'll put it on the smoker and leave it on depending on the size, from anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. And all I use on it is Italian dressing. I'll put zesty Italian dressing across the top, and I use a water-type smoker and all.
Oh.
And
Now, wait a second. You say Italian dressing. Where actually do you apply the Italian
just
dressing?
across the top, where the drip across the top of the venison ham, and then it drips down into the water pan.
Wow. Now, and what do you put in? Anything in the water pan besides water?
That's all. Just water, and let the drippings from the Italian dressing and from the meat drip into the pan.
And do you have to look in on it every so often? You say 6 to 8 hours?
Right. I'll check it periodically and make sure that the water's still got water in the pan. And sometimes, if you leave it on for 8 hours, you'll have to add some water too. You know.
Well, you make me proud, and now I know it is possible to cook a good deer roast in a smoker.
It is that. It's good and tender. And people don't think deer is tender, but it is tender.
That was, I mean, I can't describe it really accurately, but literally it fell apart when you put it in your mouth.
And it's something that's low in cholesterol, too. It's very lean.
Oh, it's good for you.
It's good for you. It is a...
Randy Ashby, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
All right, folks, you're one of the first people I've asked. The 1994 food fair, how is it?
Fine.
It is.
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite thing?
I guess a ham and biscuit.
What's your name, sir?
Pat Askins.
And who do you have here with you?
That's my wife, Alberine Askins.
Hello, Miss Askins. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
And are you enjoying this food fair?
Oh, yes. Look forward to it.
What's your favorite thing today?
Everything. All of it's good.
Looks like you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm trying it out.
Well, this is a real taste of Lincoln County. You folks from Lincoln County?
Yes, sir.
And whereabouts y'all from? What part of the county?
Just this side of Skinham. We live in a green white log cabin just before you get to Skinham.
Oh, everybody knows where that is. I drive by it every day on the way home from work. I wondered who lived down that holler.
Well, come down there and we'll show you how folks have to live.
I'll just take it. Now, you're going to be surprised when I pull up in your driveway, aren't you?
No.
Well, thank you, folks. Nice talking to you.
Same to you.
These folks are always a farmer's friend, the great folks at the People's Bank. How y'all doing, gentlemen?
Doing fine, doing fine.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Marion Anderton.
Marion, nice to meet you. And we know Van over here.
Van Johnson.
How you doing, Van?
Fine, thank you.
Well, what brings y'all out here to this Ag Day? And tell me about what farmers mean to the People's Bank.
Oh, farming means a whole lot to Lincoln County in general. And we at People's Bank certainly want to be a part of the ag community here and do our part to help the farmer. The farmer has a tough time and with all the price fluctuations and the weather and no vacations and a lot of tough times for the farmer, and we want to help out.
You may have like just a minor inside line onto what the year is going to look like, not only for farmers but for finances in general. What's the outlook for 94?
The outlook is real good for 94. Rates are going to stay low, I think, probably throughout the remainder of the year. Be a good time to do some financing and maybe, in fact, pay off some debts this year before rates go up. And that's not a good thing for bankers, but it's probably good advice.
It sure is. Well, we're so glad you made it here to the Ag Day.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And how's our friend Henrietta doing down there?
Henrietta's doing well. She'll be here a little later.
Well, we hope we can catch her.
I'm sure it will.
Thank you very much, Van.
Take care.
That's People's Bank, folks. We're right here in Fayetteville. Now, we have probably one of the biggest crops in Lincoln County is tobacco farming. Sir, what's your name?
My name's John Satterwhite. I'm from Columbia, Tennessee.
John, what are you doing here at the Agricultural Day?
Well, we're growing tobacco on water.
Tobacco on water?
Well, our grandfathers would say it wouldn't work, but I can tell you after having done it for a couple of years and visited people in North Carolina that do hundreds of acres and people in Kentucky who do a good bit of tobacco too, that it really will work.
Give me a full report. What are we looking at?
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take these styrofoam trays and we fill them with potting soil, and then we either take these plugs and then insert these plugs into the tray, or we can do what we call direct seeding, which is to take a seeder and just put the seeds in these trays, and then at that point we float the trays on water, and it takes approximately 8 weeks from the time we seed the tray until we have a plant that's big enough to transplant in the field.
Boy, that saves a lot of hard work.
It's a lot easier on your back than having to pull plants out of a plant bed.
And so how long do they stay on the water?
Well, if you get the plugs and transfer them, the plugs stay about 4 weeks. If you start from seeds, it's going to take about 8 weeks.
Well, tell me about the tobacco industry as a whole. What direction is the tobacco industry moving?
Well, that's hard to say. You know, of course, we're talking about having a pretty hefty tax on tobacco right now, and that's going to be a little bit detrimental to the industry, depending on how much the tax is.
Is that a reality now?
Well, it's not a reality, but it seems to me that there's certainly going to be some sort of tax that's placed on tobacco.
What does the average tobacco farmer think about that?
Well, of course, the average tobacco farmer doesn't think that's too good because that's going to get into his pocketbook to a certain degree. One of the things that we have to consider is that people are not going to quit smoking today. just because they put a tax, whether it be 25 cents or $1 a pack. It's not gonna make some difference to some people. But tobacco production or tobacco usage as a whole is probably going to decline in the United States. Now, worldwide usage is up, and so we still have an opportunity to export a good bit of tobacco.
Does the farmer ever wrestle with the real issue of tobacco, you know, and the health risks there? Does the farmer wrestle with that issue when you compare it to it's his livelihood and he's got to make a living?
Well, I guess that would be in the same realm of somebody that grows hops that goes in beer, or somebody that you know, as far as the electric company or the gas company, what if they have to cut off somebody's heat because or because they couldn't pay the bill? You know, I mean, and something happens to that person that's really bad. You have to draw a line somewhere. I grow tobacco because it's an excellent livelihood for me. It's been grown on my farm as long as I can remember, and even before I can remember. And it's just something that I do.
That's a very good parallel that you draw there. Tobacco farming is one of the hardest farming's going.
Well, it certainly is. The old-timers laugh and say it's a 13-month-a-year job, and it really is. You start next year's crop before this year's is finished. And what we're trying to do with these plants right here is to make the setting a little bit easier than it used to be.
How about the 93 crop? How did that look, and what do things look like for 94?
Quality on 93 crop was really good. The production was down a little bit. Some places had pretty bad black shank problems, but basically it was a good quality crop. The outlook for 94, of course, we don't know what our quality would be like. It seems that the allotment quotas are going to be reduced somewhat because the government tobacco pool got something like 35 to 40%, I understand, of the crop for this year, and that's going to hurt us in another year.
Well, we wish you all the best, and we're grateful that you spoke with us.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. We hope you have a bumper crop.
Thanks. I've enjoyed being here.
Bye now.
You know what to do in that case. Y'all may want to move over here because we're standing. No, they may want to move over here. Come around the back. I can't make that decision for you. You have to. There's nothing wrong with cleaning up what you can. Give it a year or two to see how it responds. You can always cut it down. Like going to the beautician or the barber, they can always take a little more hair off. They can't put it back. So, honest to goodness, if you clean up the brush off the ground, make what pretty much you can. On a tree, and I was afraid y'all hadn't seen one before. All right, let's assume that the top of this tree got broke out of it. Then this thing's going to be true whether this tree is an inch, well, whether it's 7 foot tall or 70 foot tall in theory. If the top gets broke out of a tree, or the limb does, it's always nice to get another. Well, let me see. Let me start again a little bit. This is going to be probably truer of a small young tree, the size of this one or the bigger. If the top gets broke out of it, you end up without a central leader, and that's not good. You want a straight trunk. And this limb right here will probably turn up and be crooked. This one might even be better. There's several things the fella can do. Will I be on Channel 5 later?
6.
We straighten that thing up. It would be nice to go around it with about 4 revolutions of just masking tape, nothing more. 4 revolutions of masking tape, the hose will stay on there long enough to train that to a more upright position. After that tape falls away, Then you come in and cut the main leader, and you'll have a better situation.
Now, when you're talking dairy, this is the lady that you want to talk to, Miss Christine Sullivan. Christine, how are you?
I'm fine, Pete. How are you? Would you like some milk today?
Absolutely. I just got done eating some smoked beef up there. I'm thirsty. I'll get some a little later.
All right. And Mr. Clayton here, have you met him?
No, why don't you introduce us?
This is Mr. James Clayton. This is the very first herd I ever tested when I started testing on DHIA.
Glad to see you, Pete. I knew seen you around.
Mr. Clayton, it's a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, what's dairy farming been like in 1993, and how's it look for 94?
Well, I'm out of it now. I don't keep up with everything like that. I might tell you how it was back in 1930.
Oh, let's hear it. Go ahead, fill us in. You didn't have the machines back then, did you?
Yes, we had the machine, but it was pretty rough dairy farming back then. Everything was rough back then, of course.
Now, what made it so rough?
Well, you didn't get much for your product. Whatever you produced didn't bring much money.
Wow. Same problems they're having today.
But I'll tell you, the money went further than it does now.
Did it now?
Yeah.
Hey, what was the average day like when you woke up on the dairy farm in 1930?
Well, you had to milk the cows like you do today, but you milked them a little different way.
How?
Well, a lot of them were milked by hand. Most of them, in fact, at that time, were milked by hand. But we had a few machines.
How did you keep all that volume of milk cool until they came to pick it up?
we didn't. That is when the milk trucks were going to Borden here, and they ran twice a day. They'd pick up the night's milk in the summertime at night and get it to the plant. Didn't have to cool it at the farm.
Now, what was life like back in those Borden days?
Oh, a whole lot. I worked with Borden for 22 years later on as a field man, and saw everything that happened there. It's very interesting.
Borden was really the backbone of the dairy community right here in Fayetteville, wasn't it?
They started the plant here in 1927, and that's what really started the dairy here. Before that, farmers had to separate the cream in a separator and sell the cream, you know.
They did that, huh?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, what do you think the outlook in the future looks like for dairy farmers? You're out of it. Do you look at it any differently now that you're out of it?
Well, not necessarily, but there'll always be a place for dairying, I think, but changes are taking place just like in everything else. And like this new hormone that they're coming along with, and a lot of controversy about it, makes cows give more milk, and they say it doesn't change the milk anyway at all, but
Mr. Clayton, is that hormone a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh boy.
We don't know what effect it'll have on the cow, having her produce more milk, and we don't know how it'll affect the economy, causing on the price of product, you see.
Yeah.
May overproduce it, so we don't know yet, but it's just like anything new, they've got to try it out and see what's going to happen.
Hey, it'd really take something to overproduce milk now, wouldn't it?
Well, we've been doing that a good while. We've had more than we needed.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been overproducing a good while. You know, there have been different programs to cut down on it. The government has had several programs to try to cut down on the production of milk. We just had more than we needed.
I never thought I'd heard of a government subsidy for milk.
Well, I can't recall. Maybe we had a little subsidy, but what that program has been buying up cows, getting people to sell the cows, you know, and giving them a little premium on that.
Ah, that's how they control it then. They go for the big picture.
That's right, that's right.
Well, Mr. Clayton, we appreciate you talking with us and cluing us in on maybe a little glimpse of 1930 dairy farming.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. We're back with Christine Sullivan with the dairy farmers, the DHIA, the Dairy Herd Improvement Association. Mr. Clayton's a very nice gentleman, isn't he?
Yes, he sure is. When I started testing in 1976, that was the very first barn that I went to do my DHIA work. And when Hilton started testing, just a minute, I've got a customer here. Would you like some milk? thank you.
All right.
And when Hilton started testing in February of 1958, that was the very first herd that he started testing.
How about
and
that?
the weather that day was about like it was the past few days. It was a big snow on the ground, and he could not even get all the way back to the milk barn. He had to get out and walk. Can you believe that he has lasted 36 years after his first day being like that?
Now, you say testing. What are you actually testing for?
Well, we collect a milk sample when we go to the dairy barns. We weigh the milk from each cow. We collect a sample and we send that to our lab in Fayetteville, Tennessee, and they run a butterfat, protein, and a mastitis test on this milk, and then send the dairyman the results back.
Now, you are one of the hardest working ladies in the county. Tell folks what your job is. Tell folks like an average day of the job in the DHIA.
Well, my hours are kind of like what the electric company has been doing all this past week. I feel like it is. A lot of days I put in a long, long day. I've got to get up in the morning, Sunday morning, about 1:30 and go to work to a dairy barn. And I've been in Pulaski this morning testing a herd. I'll be down here promoting the dairy industry and handing out milk until time to go back to Pulaski to test a herd this afternoon. And then I've got to test a herd here in Lincoln County in the morning that will start milking at 3 a.m. And then I'll be going back to that dairy tomorrow afternoon.
How do the dairy farms in Pulaski compare to the dairy farms in Lincoln County?
How do you mean, how do they compare? Milk production?
Yeah, size of herds, number of farms.
I would say, I guess it runs about pretty much the same. Yeah, we have, I guess about the same, yeah. And we do some testing in Moore County too. This is one of my past dairymen right over here, Rick Seiler, that he works at the co-op now. That's one of my Moore County dairymen that I used to test for. He's no longer in the dairy industry, but he's over here working in my place handing out milk while I'm talking, while I'm loafing, so I don't work as hard as I'm making people think I do.
Well, you get an opportunity to take a little break. You better take it, girl.
Yeah, thank you. And why don't you come out and go to work with me in the morning, like 2:30, 3.
I only get up that early for one thing, and that's
fishing.
You got it. Christine, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you, and come back and drink some milk when you have time.
I'll do it right when I turn this camera off.
All right, that sounds good.
In fact, let's not even wait for that. Give me a chocolate one right now. Yeah, I'm thirsty. Here, open that for me, will you? Yeah. Milk, it's what made America great. Oh, yeah. This come from a chocolate cow?
And did you see my T-shirt, milk? Does the body good?
Oh, I need a lot more than milk to do my body good. Well, thank you very much. Let's try it here.
Okay. Did you need me to turn that camera on you, let everybody see how much you enjoyed it?
You are simple. No, I don't want my bosses to know I'm having this much fun.
Oh, okay.
Let's see you, Christine.
Okay.
Thanks for the milk. This is Janora Dennison, is that right?
That's right.
What are you doing over here, Janora?
Well, I'm showing you everything that we grow on our farm.
Well, who are we?
We. Let me show you. We
Okay,
are
let's see you then.
Dennison's Family Farms.
I will.
And here's who we are and what we do and approximately when we do it and the map to the farm.
Well, fantastic. Well, tell me who you are, what you do, and show me what you got.
Well, what is on the table, of course, is purchased here in the winter, but we are not displaying anything that we do not grow on the farm.
Oh, these strawberries.
So starting, well, hopefully we'll have 3 acres that looks at least that good about the 1st of May. We raise about 5 or 6 acres of staked tomatoes. We raise all colored peppers, sweet corn, broccoli. We sell also some of our crops with Alatin that you talked to a while ago over there. But these are the things that we do ourselves on the farm.
Now, where can we find you? Where is your farm located?
We're toward Elora, 64 east towards Elora. And anybody that's native to the county, the easiest way to say it's the old switch where they used to go look for the ghost on the railroad track.
Right, the Flintville Lights.
The light on the track. That's the old Kirkendall farm, and we call it Circle Oaks, Dennison Circle Oaks Farms.
Did you ever see the Flintville Lights up there?
I didn't, but my children have, and right there's my son. He can tell you about it.
Oh, well, by golly, we will ask him a little later. Let's talk to him if we can.
Okay.
Now, why don't you introduce us?
Frank.
Hello, Frank. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
We're looking at some of the crops that you grow on Dennison Farms, and you're close to the infamous Flintville Lights down there.
That's true.
Now, Mom says that you've actually seen them. What did you see?
I saw a light.
Just on the track area, or what?
It was on the track. Of course, this was years ago. I was a kid, but sort of started out as a glow and became more and more prevalent between the trees that silhouetted the railroad track, and before you knew it, here came the light.
You know, you describe it just like several other people describe it. What do you think it is?
All it is something I had never seen before or since. Beyond that, I'll make no predictions.
You're taking the safe route, aren't you?
Right.
Well, what's life been like out on Dennison Farms this past year?
Well,
and what do you think things are going to look like in '94?
We think that come spring and summer, we'll be looking much like this table here, with red ripe tomatoes and green, yellow, and red peppers, and some big juicy strawberries that fit nicely in the palm of your hand.
And even better in the palm of your mouth.
That's right, that's right. And we'll be having sweet corn coming on there in end of June. Strawberries should start about the 1st of May. Peppers will be about the 1st of July, and tomatoes somewhere around the end of June. So
fantastic.
We're going to try to keep folks busy loading up their grocery basket with good fresh stuff.
What do you think of the soil here in the county? The ground, is it good ground?
There's a lot of different types of soil in the county, and things are, there's a lot of variation from the river bottom soils of the Elk River, which is primarily, of course, a silt loam type soil, very good for corn production and these type of items, to up on the Highland Rim we get into a sandier, grayer type soil that is better suited to vegetable production. There's more sand in it. As you go around the county, you'll see that there tends to be sort of clusters of vegetable production, or row crop production, and a lot of that is the type of soil they're farming.
Is that part of the reason is that you grow really great peppers out towards Elora and Flintville, and really great melons up there on Pea Ridge? Different soils are conducive to great growing.
That's very much a part of it. On the Highland Rim, which most of course is where Elora is, and the potato growers and melon growers on Pea Ridge, we have a very acidic soil. So it's sandy and it goes very acid. So this puts the punch in a tomato. It puts some of that smoothness on a potato. It's easily worked because there's a lot of sand, and it's good vegetable soil.
A lot of folks don't know how many potatoes are grown here in the county. There's a lot of potato growers in Lincoln County.
There is. I'm not the guy to ask for the acreage totals, but there are. And Lincoln County has been known for years as a potato growing area, as a melon growing area. The Pea Ridge cantaloupe is quite famous around the southeast, at least.
Yeah.
And with Alatin Vegetable Growers Cooperative, the county's starting to be known also as a shipping point for squash and peppers and cabbage and some vegetables that are relatively new to the county, but are doing a very good job.
I saw a pepper field up at your end of the county, and it just went on and on and on. It's really something to see right before harvest, isn't it?
It's pretty.
It
Yeah.
sure is.
You gotta like seeing that, or you won't be out there in it. But we like seeing that.
Well, thanks so much for speaking with us.
Okay, my pleasure.
Folks, this is Ann Cleave of the Elk River Plantation. Hello, Ann.
Oh, hi. How are you doing today?
Just doing terrific. And you have one of the most unusual, I guess you would call it, taste tests of the day. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, my booth has to do with ratites. Excuse me, I've had the flu.
That's all right.
And what we're really featuring here today is emu. Now,
Emu.
that's the mid-size ratite.
A ratite.
Yes, flightless birds.
A ratite is a flightless bird.
And we always tell people it's not a rat that's uptight. It's the flightless birds. Over here, you might enjoy seeing the different eggs from the bird.
Yeah, show us one of these.
All right. On top, we have the ostrich egg, which, of course, is by far the largest.
No doubt.
Then we have the beautiful emu egg.
It's so dark.
Yes, a beautiful teal green, and it's sought after by crafters, some jewelry manufacturers, several people. They're hard to come by because basically the bird if it lays an egg, it hatches. Some of these are glued back together because it's hard to get those. And down underneath is the rhea egg. The rhea is the small, sometimes they call it the miniature ostrich. It's from South America. And so we have all three eggs here in display. And then we have also the little chick, the rhea chick.
And how are these birds marketed, and what is done with the emu?
Well, right now it's very exciting because the emu is being slaughtered and marketed that were grown in Australia. So Australia is allowing us, for example, I import the meat, that's where this meat came from, Australia, and it gives us a chance to get out there and get the meat in the restaurants, in the gourmet meat stores and things before in America we're ready to slaughter our birds.
Well, what kind of bird are we looking at here?
This is the emu. This little chick is a rhea chick, and this is an emu chick. Now, the taxidermists had never seen these birds, so they have a little different shape now than when they started, but they're close.
No kidding. Now, what happened to these birds? Were these raised out on your farm?
Yes, an owl got this one.
Oh.
We didn't know that owls would do that.
Yes, ma'am, I sure did. One carried off my cat not too long ago.
All right, so you understand. Okay, we're owl-proof now. But anyway, this bird comes little zebra stripes, and then by 3 months it starts to get a black head and look like a small adult. We have the adults outside. Well, they aren't truly adults that we brought. We brought yearlings, but they basically look like an adult. They just don't have the mass in full size.
Now, when you talk about your farm, you're of course talking about the Elk River Plantation. A lot of people know that as the place where you have the pumpkin patch days.
Right. Pumpkin patches are October fun time. And we've had lots and lots of people come for that. This year, we're opening the farm also for corporate picnics and weddings and private reunions and that type of thing through the summer.
How do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can call area code 615-433-9757. Just any time, day or night, we're there, but we really aren't.
And I've never eaten an emu. Why don't you serve me up a slice?
I think that'd be a good idea.
All right, folks, here we go. We're going to try some of this emu. We're going to let you know how it tastes. Now, how was this prepared?
Well, this was marinated in Burgundy wine and with seasonings in it, a lot of garlic, fresh garlic.
Good stuff.
The thing about the emu is it takes no time to cook. The frightening thing is if you overcook it, you've had it.
No kidding.
Undercooked is the way to go with emu meat.
Well, you know, it really doesn't taste like a bird.
No, because it's a red meat, just like beef. As a matter of fact, it's kind of the alternative beef. I have a chart here, actually, that shows an interesting breakdown between the various meat sources.
How about that?
So you can see that it has the protein comparable with beef, but look at the iron you get. And look at how few calories and cholesterol you're consuming.
Wow, low cholesterol, low fat, emu is the common thing.
Absolutely. And then this is the hide over here. Got very soft, and look how the blue one just absorbs the color.
Wow, it really is solid, isn't it?
Yes. So this is going to be permeating the clothing industry near term. Right now, these things are all coming from Australia. But it won't be too long, maybe 7 years, and we'll be having our own slaughter facilities here in America.
And a few years ago, out at the Elk River Plantation, you had to turn over a lot of your strawberries. Is that right?
That's right.
Are you still growing strawberries out
there? Well, we'll be back in production, maybe on a limited basis this May, and full scale next May, 95.
Fantastic. There's nothing like an Elk River strawberry in the whole world.
And they're so healthy for you. So we're the health place with the healthy emu meat and healthy strawberries.
You can eat good, and you can dress fashionably while you're eating.
That's it.
And thanks for talking with us.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye-bye. Well, if you folks watch Channel 6 very much at all, you might recognize some of these faces. These are the faces of the folks out at Scott's Orchard. This is Mrs. Martha Scott. Hi, Martha.
Hello.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks.
It's really good to see you. We're certainly glad to have you at the food fair today.
Thank you.
What are you offering today?
Fresh apple cake.
Oh, show us that.
Popcorn.
Oh, that looks good.
Fresh apple cider.
Oh, you got to fix me up with some apple cider, Miss Martha.
I sure will.
We had the greatest time touring your farm out there. The apples were so healthy, and you have quite an operation out there. How long have you been doing it?
51 years.
Wow, that is great. And Mr. Roy, he's around here somewhere. We'll say hi to him a little later.
Yeah, he's down here in the pruning business.
All right. How's the apple crop look for 94?
Well, it's hard to tell yet. The ice freeze didn't hurt us any.
No kidding.
But it really hurt our shade trees in the yard. Yes, and our pecan orchard, it just nearly diminished it.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that the orchard, though, wasn't heavily affected.
We're just awfully far behind pruning. It's been so much rain and all, but we'll eventually get there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm going to try some of your great apple products, and we just wanted to come up and say hi.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Miss Scott. That's Miss Martha Scott with Scott's Orchard. They're right on the Alabama-Tennessee line near on Ardmore Highway, just off Ardmore Highway. You can't miss it. Well, there's the future of farming right here in Lincoln County. Hi there, youngin'. How you doing?
Hi, Pete. Can you wave? Say how you doing. Say how you doing. Say I'm just here riding my tractor.
Folks, this is Henrietta Towery. Hi, Henrietta.
Hi, Pete. How are you doing today?
Doing terrific, and of course, Henrietta's with the People's Bank.
Yes. We're so proud we could be here today and be a part of the activities. It looks like there's a lot of people here today.
Well, the People's Bank's very important to farmers. We talked to Van earlier, and he said you might be stopping by, and I'm certainly glad we got a chance to say hello.
Thank you very much. We had to come out and check out what was going on today.
Henrietta, I got to tell you, I'm in shock. Last time I saw this youngin', he was a tiny one.
I know it. Oh, he's out taking care of things today. We had to come down and see what was going on, and he's a big boy now.
He sure is. Have a great day. See you later.
Say bye-bye.
There it is. Bye, Henrietta.
Thank you, Pete.
Now, it wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't one farmer in Lincoln County that hasn't used this product. They've all used this Ivomec. And what's your name, sir?
My name is Todd Jennings, and I represent Merck & Company.
Well, Todd, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Well, thank you.
You know, products like this have become just a crucial part of farming, especially in a place right here in Lincoln County, which is one of the biggest beef and dairy cattle counties in the whole state.
Well, that's exactly right. Beef and dairy cattle make up quite a bit of the total agricultural receipts from Lincoln County, and I'm glad to say that Ivomec's been able to be a part of that. We've been able to help farmers control internal and external parasites in their cattle, increase their profitability, and give them good returns.
How big a problem are parasites right here in Lincoln County?
Parasites are a big problem anywhere, especially in the southern United States, where we have moderate winters. We don't have near the winters that they have up north, and so parasites remain a problem during the winter. We get into the spring when the grass starts to grow and things get a little lush, then we're looking at having a product where we can get rid of the parasites, where the cattle can make the best out of the forage that's available for them.
And I tell you what, the higher yields are a direct result out of good management, and part of that good management is knowing when to go with good products like this, isn't
That's exactly right. You know, with Ivomec, we're very proud to be the #1 selling animal health product in the country. So I think that speaks well for the product, the company, and the cattlemen that are using it.
And since the advent of the pour-on version, that really made it easy.
That's exactly right. Cattlemen all over are really taking advantage of the convenience and the added spectrum of control that they get with the pour-on.
Well, we appreciate talking with you today.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Well, same to you.
Miss Maple Ferguson of Harlow Produce. Hello, Maple.
Hello, Pete.
How you doing, honey?
I'm fine.
What do you have? What have you brought from the produce stand today?
I've got fresh watermelon and cantaloupe.
Oh, show it to
us.
us.
Not from Lincoln County yet.
Well, of course, it's a little early.
Isn't that pretty?
What is that? What is that there, Maple?
That's a basket. That's how it's supposed to look.
Hold that up for us, will you? It's a watermelon basket. Well, isn't that neat?
That's the color watermelon should be.
Well, of course, out at Harlow Produce, I just bought a big old Big'em Country ham from y'all.
Yes, you did. How far did that travel?
Well, that went back all the way to Denver, Colorado. My boss was coming to town. I had to do some kissing up.
Oh, yes.
And no better way to kiss up than to give him a Big'em Country ham.
We have sent a lot of them in that direction.
Hey, what's things look like for 1994 at Harlow Produce?
Gonna be great. Gonna be great.
And how's Bobby?
Bobby's doing good. He's there minding the store and hope he's doing a good job. If he didn't, folks, come and tell me.
Well, we hope you have a great day here, and I'm going to have some of your watermelon.
And pretty soon we'll be in the Vidalia onion season.
What on earth?
So now we have the Vidalia onion relish there.
Oh,
of course, at
wow.
Harlow Produce, Pete, we try to handle as many as the Tennessee products as well as the local products as we can. We have the Benton County Tennessee sorghum, the Don Templeton honey from right here in our county, and we try to help out all the farmers here that we can, just as much as we can.
Last year, I got
it's better anywhere.
Last year I got a bunch of Lincoln County popcorn off of you.
Yes, that's right, and Mr. Roy Scott and them raised that.
That was really good.
See?
Well, super talking to you, Miss Mabel
you
Ferguson.
too.
Harlow Produce, folks, real nice gal.
See, these roam the pasture, and if I were in a situation where I could keep them up and comb out the wool and get good quality clean wool, I could sell for about $5 an ounce, $3 to $5 an ounce. And I would probably get 2 to 5 pounds. Putting in fences and trying to get shelter and where to keep them off my line up road. On what's called home.
The males in all these big birds, the males are the one that sits on the eggs. And once in a while, if you can't find an egg out there, you can't find it, you'll have to move the rooster, and he's got the egg under him.
I mean, these girls, you have to turn them around, didn't you?
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Women love to hear about that.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we hope you have enjoyed this 1994 Food Fair and Agricultural Day here in Lincoln County. We sure enjoyed showing you all the folks and their entries and all the great folks that have come by here. We say a special thanks to them, but a special thanks to you, our viewers, for joining us here at Ag Day 1994 in Lincoln County.
Is, should I tell this big company what happened with the small company and me?
Well, how long were you with a small company?
1 year.
And you quit, but you told them you were leaving for another job.
Yeah. Because I couldn't find another way to leave this company because
Why? What hold do they have on you?
it was not a hold. It's just I don't know. I was just psychologically compressed by them. I was working more than 40 hours a week and